At the Salisbury Museum, children have been invited to let their imagination run wild to create their own fantasy world. The idea was inspired by the Terry Pratchett exhibition currently on at the museum. It celebrates the late author's life and work along with the fantasy worlds he created.
Every October half term on a Tuesday we have an event that's connected to the Big Draw, so it's wonderful that we've got the Terry Pratchett exhibition on at the moment because it's perfect inspiration for this activity. The artwork that supports the covers of Terry's books and the illustrations that have been done by Paul Kidby are all about fantasy, and so it seemed, whilst we've got these amazing artworks on the wall for inspiration, people can come along and they can either make their own version of the Discworld with a turtle underneath, or they can absolutely create something that is out of their own imagination.
It's all part of the Big Draw, a global festival celebrated in October to recognise art. Galleries, museums and other organisations take part, and last year over 26 countries hosted art events for all ages.
I think Big Draw is an opportunity for people to try out all sorts of activities. So some people might be offering printmaking. I mean, one year when we had the Big Draw here, it was inspired by Doctor Who, and we actually had a Dalek in the back corridor. So it's all sorts of, it's means of giving access to people to try out new activities, new materials, and we always have sessions led by a practicing artist, so it's an opportunity to work with someone who really knows what they're doing.
Children here have been given a range of materials to work with in order to create their 3D imaginary world. Although they're being inspired by Terry Pratchett's work, they're being allowed to let their creativity take over.
I think generally you find that you come up with an idea and then the kids will just run with it, and they've got so many of their own ideas and so many other influences that come into their lives, and they'll come up with fantastic worlds. But as you can imagine, common themes are unicorns, dragons, butterflies, monsters, those kind of things that you see in sort of popular culture.
The Big Draw organisation are spreading the idea that art and drawing can be good for mental well-being, no matter a person's creative ability.
Arts is really good for people's sense of well-being because it gives them an opportunity to relax, explore their creativity, and I think for children and young people it's really important to keep them involved in arts because creative thinking applies to all different job roles. It's not just to do with working in the arts. So particularly when we're working with secondary schools, we kind of impress on them that creative thinking is something that they will need in any different career path that they go into, not just the arts typically. For younger children it's fantastic though. It's a really good way of expressing themselves because sometimes they don't have the words to express themselves, so through arts they can put forward lots of different ideas that they might not be able to verbalise.
The Big Draw Festival will end on the 31st of October. Kara Digby, That's TV.